Goodbye.
Well, of course we have conversations with this sort of thing. That's what 2.5 years ago.
Right.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Just press pound to continue. You are in the meeting now. There are 3 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded. You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6.
Darius, can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, I can hear now. Can you hear me?
Darius, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and I don't think we're on a lag anymore.
All right.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to try this again. Before we officially open the meeting, we are operating in a hybrid environment. The reason that we are doing that now is that we did have quorum issues. This is our first meeting. Can you hear us now? Back in person.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and I don't think we're on a lag anymore.
Oh, all right.
So we've got a. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to try this again. It's just YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is our first meeting back in person after about 2.5 years. We will be taking action on a remote policy. We're not operating under a remote policy currently. We are posting our meeting. Darius Shanpar is joining us from an alternate location that has been posted publicly. Our board chair had scheduled a vacation prior to the sunset of the public meeting remote legislation that had been enacted. So bear with us. Thank you for your patience on this. But we do have quorum at this point with Darius participating under the previous rules for public meetings. And we've got 3 members present here in person at 21 Lodge Street as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Lee Eck, who is going to chair the meeting for us this afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lee Eck. Welcome to the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency regular board meeting. Today is Thursday, June 16th. We can start with, well, Sarah gave us the roll call. We could go to the reading and approval of the minutes. Since the minutes were previously distributed, I wonder if we can go to the reading, if we could get a motion to accept. If there are any changes? Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All right, minutes are approved. Thank you very much. We can go into report of the Chief Financial Officer. Tom?
Great, and I'm going to turn things over to Amy Thompson of DST.
So for May, we had revenue in the amount of $317,852. Expenditures were $41,356, which were all budgeted, and that's it. Anyone have questions?
We don't need a motion.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amy, appreciate that. Move on to unfinished business. First order is Man Realty LLC, corner of State Street in Swansea. If we could go over a project synopsis.
Excellent. Thank you, Lee. I'll note that this project had been previously discussed at the Finance Committee as well as the board meeting. A public hearing had previously been held with no public comments received. And I'd further note that the project applicants are here with us today in the room to answer any potential outstanding questions. I'll give a very brief summary of the project before the board. The project proposes to redevelop an underutilized approximate 44,000 square foot, 4-story building into an apartment complex containing approximately 61 market rate residential apartments and approximately 1,000 square feet of commercial retail space.
So if I may, the next item is the secret resolution, Chair, and I can read the secret resolution if you'd like.
That's fine. I'll turn everything over to Tom as far as the resolutions due to the mask, so everybody can hear us and understand us for the recording. So thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you. So if you're following on the online packet, it's page 11 of the PDF, and this is a resolution determining that action to undertake a project for the benefit of Man Realty LLC is a type 2 action, and no further action is required under seeker with respect thereto.
Motion?
Motion to adopt the resolution. Second?
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
So the next resolution is on page 16 of the PDF, and this is a resolution, it's a commercial retail findings resolution, and it's a resolution A determining that the proposed Man Realty LLC project is a commercial project, and B, making certain findings required under the general municipal law.
Can we get a motion?
So moved.
Tony?
Second.
Joe? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Motion carries. And I just want to note that we have done a lot of review, as Darius usually states. We have gone over this project. Have done quite a bit of consideration on this project. So move next motion, or next, I'm sorry, resolution.
Thank you. The next resolution is a pilot deviation approval resolution that can be found on page 22 of the PDF. And that's a resolution authorizing a deviation from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy in connection with the proposed payment in lieu of tax agreement to be entered into by the agency in connection with the proposed project for Man Realty LLC, the company.
I'd like to note, as part of discussion on this resolution, this is a deviation from our uniform tax exemption policy that the board is considering today. As Lee has mentioned, the board has done a considerable amount of review. Staff has performed a financial analysis as well as a cost-benefit analysis for the assistance being considered this afternoon. You have all of that in your packet. It will also be a part of the resolutions and findings and ultimate agreement with the applicant. In the project summary, it does walk through the revenue gain to the taxing jurisdictions as well as the increase to the property value and the community benefits brought with the project.
Sorry. And if we can move on with the motion.
Motion to move to adopt the resolution.
Joe?
Second.
Second by Tony. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And then the last resolution is an approving resolution for the Man Realty LLC project. And this is a resolution authorizing the execution of documents in connection with a leaseback transaction for a project for Man Realty LLC, the company, and this is on page 33 of the PDF.
I call for a motion on the resolution.
So moved.
Tony, thank you.
Second.
Second by Joe. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Just want to say thank you again, everybody, on behalf of Man Realty and myself. It's been a pleasure always working with the professional staff here and working on projects to help the city. Thanks.
Thank you for your
Thank you very
investment.
much. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Smooth as I could imagine.
Thank you, guys.
Coming from New York City, this is really.
How long are your friends?
Yeah, right.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I believe we can go on to, new business. First order is FC 705 Broadway LLC, / 705 Broadway Hotel LLC. This will be a resolution approving the third extension of the approval resolution, acceptance of amended application. Second.
Thank you. So this project has been before the committee and board since really 2019. I'm going to give a brief history and note that Melissa from Pioneer, the project applicant, is here with us today to answer any questions. The original project at Quackenbush Square that was approved by the agency consisted of a 132-room, 8-story hotel and was approved for sales, mortgage recording, and real property tax exemptions in June of 2019. The project received a 1-year extension of the approving resolutions in June of 2020 and an additional 1-year extension through June of 2022. This was due to progress being paused due to the COVID-19 crisis and obviously the effect it had on the construction industry and project financing. The request at hand involves an additional extension through the end of this calendar year, December 31st, 2022, and a modification of the original approving resolutions to align with the revised project. Of note, no additional financial assistance is being requested at this time above what was originally contemplated. So the main difference here is the hotel is 1 story shorter and went from 132 rooms to 110. And with that, I'll turn it over to the board and/or Melissa with any questions.
Melissa, anything you want to add?
No, I'm happy to answer any questions. I mean, I think that pretty well covers it. I mean, so we definitely made some modifications. I think you saw in your packet, it's now carbon neutral. So we're kind of excited about that. And we deleted the pool. There's additional meeting rooms. Also, we think is a better fit for where the hotel is and how it will be used for the most part. We're really close to closing financing, hopefully within weeks.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add is that we have had communications with Lenders Council, so there is a lot of activity with respect to getting the project to closing. So this is a necessary step.
I want to make a comment. I appreciate the fortitude of sticking with the project so that we didn't lose a spot in downtown. So
yeah, we still feel incredibly strongly about the project and we're closer than we are, but fortitude's a good word.
I did too. I think we've seen a lot of people in many areas that have been delayed, especially due to COVID, and the fact that there's no increase in the cost on the project, and that you've stuck with this and made those adjustments, I think only further supports, that this was that you guys have good faith actors on this.
Thank you for sticking with us and believing in us.
questions, comments? So we need a motion on this, correct?
Chair, I'm happy to read the resolution, if you'd like.
Thank you.
So as on page 44 of the PDF, it's a resolution giving a third extension of the expiration date relating to the approving resolution adopted by the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency and acceptance of amended application with respect to a commercial project for FC 705 Broadway LLC, 705 Broadway Hotel LLC.
Motion, second,
Second?
Tony, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Now on.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
Thank you.
No problem, thank you. Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, now we can move on to, letter B under new business. We have the real estate market studies, resolution approving the consultant contract. Turn it back over to Tom.
Thank you. So following the discussion and positive recommendations from the Finance Committee last week, there are two resolutions relating to the retention of Zimmerman Volk and CBRE to conduct real estate market studies for the purposes of updating the IDA's framework and supporting local economic development. The Zimmerman Volk contract is for $30,500, and the CBRE contract is for $49,250. Both amounts fit within the agency's budget for strategic initiatives, and it is expected that preliminary results will be available in the fall. Are there any questions?
I have none. Again, we discussed this, pretty extensively in finance. Call for a motion. Motion to approve contract. No, second.
If I just may, so I just want to note for the record, there are two resolutions, and maybe we should do each resolution individually. The first resolution is on page 57, and I'm happy to read that one, which is a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery by the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency of a professional services contract with Zimmerman Volk Associates, Inc.
Thank you, Tom, for saving me from myself. And I will call for a motion on specifically that.
Motion to approve the Volt contract, sorry. Right here. And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, so motion carries. Second
The
resolution.
second resolution is on page 61, and this is a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery by the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency of a professional services contract with CBRE.
Move.
Tony, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Very much.
Thank you, everyone. We're really thrilled to be getting started on these projects, and particularly with these firms. It's going to be really great information, not just for this board, but for economic development strategies across the city throughout. So it's going to be a fun summer.
Right. And I always appreciate all these studies as we can learn more about, because it's always interesting what you think about your own city when somebody else analyzes it for you.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. We can move on to C, the remote access policy. Public comments on policy, the resolution approving amendments to agency meeting policy, and I will turn it back to Tom to speak.
Thank you. The next item was discussed and received a positive recommendation from the Governance Committee last week, which is a modification of the agency's policies to include a remote access policy. Page 65 of the materials online is where you can find the accompanying resolution and policy. And the policy, as allowed for by state legislation that modified open meetings law in April, would provide some flexibility for board members who have an extraordinary circumstance that would require them to participate in the meeting remotely. Such circumstances are outlined in the policy, and a quorum, again, would need to be in person at one or more locations. However, members above and beyond quorum would be able to participate remotely. As noted at the Governance Committee, legislation and policy included language regarding the ability for the public to view the meetings online. However, I do want to note that the IDA already live streams and posts its meetings online as is required by legislation that was passed in 2019. So this, from an operations perspective, would not be a big change for the agency. Per the legislation and as was advertised on the agenda for today, we are soliciting public comment on the policy. But at this time, we'd like to ask if there's anyone here that wishes to speak on the remote access policy. Seeing none, I'm going to turn it back to the chair, and I can read the resolution if you'd like as well.
Absolutely. So we can move right into the resolution. I'll turn it back over to Tom.
Great. So the resolution is a resolution approving certain amendments to the agency meeting policy of the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency.
Move.
Tony, second? Second. Joe, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I believe we can now move on to the TEFRA hearing policy, including the resolution approving amendments to the agency administrative and other policy. I'll turn it back over to Tom.
Thank you. So the next item is a modification to the agency administrative and other fees policy. This policy was discussed at last week's governance committee and received a positive recommendation. The change would add 1/4 of a point for point fee for projects where the IDA is participating in the financing of a project, but the obligations are being issued by another governmental issuer and require a TEFRA hearing. As discussed by the committee, it is not expected that these would come to the IDA. However, we are updating the policy since we have had these in the past come to the CRC, and we are proposing to update the policy to reflect the same. So again, for those following online, this is on page 74 of the packet.
Thank you very much, Tom. Again, for the record, we have discussed this in comments, robust discussion, and we will now move back to the resolution. Tom, if you could read that.
Sure. This is a resolution approving certain amendments to the administrative and other fees policy of the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency.
A motion, please.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Joe, and a second.
Second.
Tony, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Now we can move into section E, which would be the election of new officers and the election of the chair approval resolution.
Sure. Just following last month's vote to name Elizabeth Sawbeck as chair of the IDA, we have a resolution today in the packet ratifying that vote. This is on page 82 of the PDF. And I'm happy to read the title, which is a resolution approving the election of the chair of the City of Albany IDA.
Get a motion.
So moved.
Wait, the next. Second. Joe, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, and congratulations to Ms. Staubach. And I believe now we can go into other business. Sarah, do we have an agency update?
We do. I'll be brief. You have the list in that last resolution of the board members, and notice that we are light by 2. As we've talked about, we did have confirmation from the City of Albany's Common Council that they expect the IDA and CRC board member solicitation to be out this week. And so that has not gone around yet, but as soon as it does, I will forward that to everyone. So if you are speaking with members of the City of Albany community who are interested in serving on the board, please let them know to keep their eyes open for that solicitation. Hopefully that will be a nice quick turnaround so that we can add to our ranks here. I also just wanted to update you quickly. We've been keeping you apprised of the legislation that has been being considered during the legislative session. Many of the items that would have impacted the Industrial Development Agency either didn't pass either chamber or only passed one chamber. There were a few that have the potential to impact us should the governor sign them into law. The one that we're tracking most closely is that had required IDAs to post notices via certified mail to the school board and school district. That had passed legislature once previously. The governor had vetoed it due to sort of the wasteful nature of having to both time and energy as well as funding to send certified mail notices to the groups that we already send electronic notice for all of our meetings and decisions. So we're waiting on that one. We are prepared to implement that if it does get signed into law, but really that's the one that would have the most significant change here. And we'll update you on that as those hit the governor's desk.
All right, so we can move back to Tom for compliance update. Means we're compliant. We have no further business, anything before us? I think I call for an adjournment.
So moved?
Tony,
Second.
Joe, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is adjourned, 12:52.
Perfect, 12:52. We'll